Jerry Barnes is not going to be with us tonight. Actually, he's in Perry, Georgia with FFA down there with the convention that's going on down at the farm show down in Perry. So he's with our FFA students down there. So that being said, let me get my notes out here. We're going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. And at this time, we're going to have a moment of prayer. And I'm going to ask Brother Jim, would you mind doing prayer for us, please?
Lord, we thank you for this day, Lord. We thank you for the men and women, Lord, have enough courage, oh Lord, to take this job as county commissioner, Lord. Deal with the fires of this county, Lord. We ask you, dear God, to help them, oh Lord, even with our spirit, oh Lord. Thank you for my brother and sisters here that are working for the court system, Lord. It's not an easy job. People think it is, but we have to deal with a lot of things, Lord. We thank you, dear God, that you give us the grace, oh Lord, to do that. We ask you, dear Lord, to be with us, Lord, in our daily lives, Lord, that we would be a light to a lost and dying world, Lord. Thank you again, oh Lord, for this day. Amen.
Amen. And while we're standing, let's do pledge allegiance, please. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right. Ms. Deborah, that brings us down to item number 3, amendments to the agenda. Do we have any amendments to the agenda?
No, sir.
All right. Brings us down to item 4, the approval of the agenda. Ms. Becky, you have looked over the agenda, and I'm assuming, hopefully in previous time, do you have anything that needs to be corrected?
No.
All right, now I get a move to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Have a move, and I'll have to second it. So we have a move and a second. Any further discussion? None being, all that favor, let know by saying aye. Aye. None opposed? Thank you. Now that brings us to the part in our meetings that we all seem to enjoy pretty good. It's employee recognition, something that Ms. Denny had started a few years ago. And we've got a group here that has worked for the county for quite a few years. I'm not going to go into all the details. Some of these here are just showing what we have got records for. Granted, you have worked longer than some of these are going to say. We could not get documentation on that because everything changed at that time. But at this particular time, we'll go ahead and proceed with the meeting. I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Becky Denny.
Thank you, Commissioner Johns. This is my favorite part of the meeting. We have wonderful employees in the county. I have gotten to know that since I've been more involved and feel very fortunate to have them. Okay, our first honoree is Sherman McIntyre. Been with us 20 years in the Sheriff's Department.
That's correct.
And is he not here?
He's not here.
Okay. And he gets stats. Okay. All right, thanks. Okay, and we have our bailiffs here. We're very proud of them, and like Mr. Jones was saying, we don't have exact dates on all of them, so we have 10-year awards, but we've only been paying them through our system for that long, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So we have William Cantrell. Good to see you. And thank you for your service. Congratulations. Okay, we have Dolly Hawkins.
These are all 10-year awards also.
Yes, they're all 10 years because that's the records that we have. And Dolly, thank you so much. We appreciate you. Oh, congratulations. And we have Inez Pooh. Maybe I can make it. Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
I think she said she was
Congratulations.
1990.
Since,
Here for 1990.
yeah, it would be nice to hear how many years that you've
Yeah,
each
they can
been
tell us
here.
because I
11 years.
Okay, William Cantrell, 11, and you're 21.
16.
Okay.
William, you came after I've been here, you was 11.
Then you must have
Then
been
you
here longer than you
were
remember.
11 and a half.
You've been there longer than that.
13,
Okay.
my boss said 13.
Can we have Ella Mae Reese? You'll come up.
Was he getting married?
Thank you. Good to see you. Good to see you too. Congratulations. We appreciate all of y'all.
Hey, Connie. You said.
And we have Jim Wheeler, Chief Bailiff. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Oops, sorry about that. Okay, and Don Clinton. Okay, thank you, sir. Appreciate you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.
I'll come up at this time. We'd like to get a picture taken with all of you.
Y'all hold on, Elizabeth.
We have been blessed, Big County been blessed to have that group with us for this length of time.
Yes.
All right, that brings us down to item number 6 under the financial report. And at this time, I'm going to turn over to Ms. Faye Harden.
Okay, thank you. The finance report that we're looking at tonight is for the first month for January 2016, the first month of our fiscal year budget. And the total revenue and expenditure budgets this year are $23,824,644. It's up a little bit from 2015. On the revenue side for January, we collected $1,166,426. That's 4.9% of the budgeted amount. On the expenditures, in general government, the total budget is $3,159,281. We spent $146,182, which is 4.63%. For judicial, the total judicial budget is $3,387,763, and we spent $148,241, which is 4.38%. Public safety, those budgets are $12,153,938, and we spent $621,658. That's 5.11%.
Under the 3920 EMA, 47.27. What is that with the
That's the code red.
code red system?
Yeah, that's the large item in their budget, and we have to pay that in January, so it skews their budget at the beginning of the year, every year.
Okay.
Okay, so then we go to Public Works budget. Their total budget is $2,797,161, and we spent $164,728. That's 5.89%. The health and welfare, that's the health department, senior center, and the MATS program. Their budgets are $790,251, and they spent $41,630, which is 5.27%. Under culture and recreation, their total budgets are $929,000, and they spent $34,865, which is 3.75%. The housing and development budgets total $607,250, and they spent $29,458, which is 4.85%. So overall, the total expenditure budget, we spent $1,186,762, which is 4.98%. For the enterprise funds, the water department, their budget this year is $2,067,100, and they spent $62,270, which is 3.01%. For the airport, their total budget is $375,496, and they spent $22,454, which is 5.98%. The expenditures and the revenues look very, very small. A lot of the expenses that we actually paid in January did accrue back to the previous year, and so that's why they will adjust as we go on through the year. I'm looking to do the last accruals back to the previous year on the 25th of February. So whenever I get the final numbers for 2015, I'll do another report, and you'll get that report at that time. That's all I have. Do you have any questions or anything?
It looks good.
It does look good so far, but we spent more money than that.
I'm sure. Thank you, though. Good job.
Thank you, Ms. Faye. All right, that brings us down to item number 8 under old business. Ms. Deborah, do we have any old business?
No, sir.
All right, brings us down to item number 9 under new business. I'm going to bring this out. We have been contacted here in the last few days by Mr. Scott Sarrett with GDOT-AA, which is the Georgia Aviation Administration. He contacted me in regard to we're getting approximately a little over $300,000 for the horseshoe project back. He has been informed that there could be another little $500,000 that could be available. The issue he's having is he needs the commissioners to have the authority to sign the paperwork within a 1 to 3 day period of time if this money becomes available. He just has a short time frame to make this happen. So, that being said, how do I?
It's on mine.
Oh, is it? Okay.
It's on the agenda.
So you already got it on this item F? Okay, well, my bad. I've got it.
It's okay.
Can I go ahead and do it now and get it over with? So anyway, while I've got it that much out, item F of that, the authorized chairman to execute documents necessary for GDOT, that's what's going on with that one. I just want to be sure that Faye knows about it and it gets mixed in with the financials. Now, he would not, he said it's a good opportunity, we might get it, but he wouldn't guarantee that we do get it, but he would like for the commissioners to give me the authority to sign it if that comes to fruition. So that being said, can I go ahead and,
Someone make a motion.
Somebody make a motion.
Sign the documents required to take that money.
right,
Yeah. I'll make that motion
Okay.
that you can be authorized to sign.
all right, and I will go ahead and second that. Any further discussion on that? All that being said, everybody in favor of that, let me know by saying aye.
Aye.
None opposed, thank you. I'm sorry I kind of jumped the gun on that, but I was going to bring that in new business. All right, we have any other new business, Ms. Deborah?
No, sir.
All right. And that brings us under number 10, under action items. Under action items A, subsection on the approved minutes, I need need approval of the number 1, the regular board meeting, January 21st of 2016. Meeting need a move and a second to approve those minutes.
So moved.
And I'll second that move and a second for discussion. None being all that in favor of the number saying aye. Aye. None opposed, thank you. That brings us down to number 2, work session on February the 4th, 2016 to approve those minutes.
So moved.
And I will second that also. Any further discussion? None being all that in favor of the number saying aye. Aye. None opposed, thank you. Number 3, a called meeting on February 4th of 2016 to approve those minutes.
So moved.
And I will second that. Any further discussion? None being all that in favor of the number saying aye.
Aye.
None opposed, thank you. Those have been approved. Brings us down to item number 4, we'll call a meeting on February the 12th on 2016. I need those minutes approved also.
So moved.
Have a move and I will second that. Move and a second for discussion. None being all that in favor of the number saying aye. Aye. None opposed, thank you. That brings us down to item B on a rezone request. We have a rezone request from Mr. Robert E. L. Stanfield. The left corner of the intersection of Highway 136 East and Grandview Rd. Agricultural to rural residential. Parcel number 008-046 and 0.09 acres. Pickens County Planning and Development Officer received a completed application on January 5th, 2016 from Robert E. L. Stanfield requesting a change in the land use classification of agriculture to rural residential on 0.09 acres located on the left corner at the intersection of Highway 136 East and Grandview Rd, Jasper, Georgia. The intended purpose of the zone request, if approved, would be for the purpose of changing the zoning from agricultural to rural residential and combining with an adjoining parcel already zoned rural residential for Mr. Stanfield's grandson to build his permanent home on. The public hearing was held on the 8th of February 2016 regarding this application in the Pickens County Commissioners meeting room before the Pickens County Planning Commission. After reviewing this application and receiving the staff report to be approved and listening to testimony from the applicant with no public concern, the Pickens County Planning Commission voted 5 yes and 0 no to approve the rezone request on the 09-acre parcel contained on the tax map parcel number 008-046. The Pickens County Planning Commission now forwards this request to the Board of Commissioners for review and decision. Do you have any questions on that?
No, I was trying to think in my mind exactly where is that? What is
That's
it
up there,
close
you know where Crossroads Church is?
Uh-huh.
That's 136 and where that's coming out there. What it is, Richard can probably explain it better than I can, but I think that the gentleman had some property there and it was zoned a couple of different ways. He was trying to clean it up, I guess, for lack of a better story, to get the zoning right and then get it in rural residential. Is that?
Yes, sir, this goes back decades where there was a larger tract and it got split up. Both tracts were agriculture property. Some of the property was given for right-of-way, and so the result was this tiny sliver of, a tenth of an acre. And so at this time, to have one tract instead of a little piece of ag, a bigger piece of rural residential, and then if you go further on Grandview, you have a larger piece that's part of the original that's ag, but the rural residential and this little sliver of what's now ag would be combined into one tract, and then the gentleman, the grandson, would build his house on that property at the corner.
All right, thank you, Richard.
I make a move to approve that.
All right, I move and I will second that, move to approve that. Any further discussion? None being all in favor, let know by saying aye. Aye. None opposed, thank you. All right, that brings us down to item number C, the authorization to sign a fiscal agent designation form for fiscal year 16 for Pickens County Family Connection. Ms. Fay, you want to express on that?
Yes, the county has been the fiscal agent for the Family Connection for about 3 years now. It's a $45,000 annual grant. We pay the expenses and apply for reimbursement quarterly, and they pay very timely. And it's just the money funds through the fiscal agent. They can't get the grant directly. And it's for the director and the operating expenses of the office.
Okay, I make a motion to give the authorization for you to sign.
All right, we have a move, and I will second that move. So I have a move and a second. Any further discussion? None being, all that in favor, let know by saying aye. Aye. None opposed, thank you. Got that authorization. All right, that brings us down to item D, to accept proposals for Watershed Protection Plan long-term monitoring. And I'm going to let, again, Mr. Osborne address that. I know he's been working on this, and I think he's finally got a method to the madness on this particular issue.
Yes, I appreciate y'all's time. It's taken a little longer, and because we did not have everything ready for approval at the beginning of the year, the existing water monitoring conducted by Advanced Environmental, one test or one sample has had to take place, but it's been worth it to get the long-term solution fixed. And I'll address everything as briefly as possible. Pickens County conducts annual water monitoring as part of the approved Lake Allatoona Upper Etowah Watershed Protection Plan. Advanced Environmental charged Pickens County $14,117 in 2015 to conduct monitoring for one site on Long Swamp Creek. In early 2016, county staff has been in discussions with state EPD on ways to fulfill the intent of the plan while being fiscally responsible. Based on the discussions, county staff, EPD staff, and Catherine Fox of Fox Environmental have come up with a revised agreement on, now I'm not a science guy, so I'm going to call this light monitoring. And there's a bunch of information. If anybody wants it, I've got the background information. But what the plan called for in the past was heavy monitoring on two sites. And the agreed upon EPD, county, Fox Environmental discussion now is light monitoring of multiple sites, since it was the EPD goal for not only to have 2 sites, but in their mind, they really wanted to open it up and have 4 or 5 or 6 creeks water monitoring ongoing. Fox Environmental conducts monitoring in various North Georgia counties, including Bartow, and has a good reputation. Fox Environmental has submitted a proposal to complete water monitoring, assessment, and reporting for $9,900, resulting in a 30% cost savings over the 2015 costs of advanced engineering, or advanced environmental. And if a month ago we had gone with their initial proposal by Fox Environmental, it would have been $1,000 more because we didn't have things straightened out with EPD. This bid would be all-inclusive. Fox Environmental has their own equipment, so Pickens County would not need to provide any manpower, equipment, or anything else. So for $9,900, the 4 sites would be Long Swamp Creek at Revis Mountain Road, Scarecorn Creek at Carver Mill Road, Sharp Mountain Creek at Dowda Mill Road, and Talking Rock Creek near Highway 136. Water Department Director, Mr. Coleman, has reviewed the proposal and agrees with the planning staff recommendation that the proposal by Fox Environmental for $9,900 be approved.
And that goes in compliance with our Upper Etowah River Alliance group that we've been working with to fulfill our obligation to this point.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And that was started, what, back in 2002, 2003, I believe. It goes
Yes,
back
sir.
that a few years. All right. All right, I'm gonna make a move to go ahead and accept Mr. Osborne's recommendation that we go ahead and accept the proposals for the Watershed Protection Plan, long-term monitoring.
Second.
All right, have a move and a second. Any further discussion? None being, all in favor, let know by saying aye. Aye. None opposed, thank you. Richard, that has been approved. Now that brings us down to item E under the 2016 TAN bids. I think Ms. Harvey and her staff has been working with some banks and received some bid proposals on TAN. I think those have come in and the deadline has since passed. You want to give us your recommendations on what you propose?
I will, and you all have a printout of the bid results. We did send out, send TAN, tax anticipation note, interest rate requests to 6 different banks. All of them were local banks. 3 banks submitted bids: Community Bank, United Community, and BB&T Governmental Finance. The interest rates that are quoted in their bid packet. Community Bank of Pickens County quoted 2.95%, and that is a line of credit. It's not a fully funded loan at closing. The interest that we would pay if for the entire year, considering the March 1st funding, would be $135,207. The interest amount that we would pay if we did a drawdown based on, if you see the second sheet, that is it shows the computation of the cumulative cash flow deficits. Based on those cash flow deficits, the interest rate at 2.95% on a drawdown basis would be $87,364. United Community Bank gave us an interest rate of 1.80, that's fully funded at closing. And assuming a March 1, 2015 funding, the interest amount would be $100,500. BB&T Governmental Finance gave us a quote of 1.08, which is also fully funded at closing. And considering the same funding date, March 1, the annual interest would be $59,400. So I recommend we go with BB&T Governmental Finance. But they did fund the 10 note in 2015. And I would recommend we go with them.
With the last TAM that we had, how much of that did we actually, at the end of the year, how much of that did we actually?
Well, it was fully funded also.
Okay,
And I did bid out for 5.5 million again this year. And we used almost all of it last year. We were down to about 200,000 probably when the revenue started coming in. So I'm not sure that we'll need the entire 5.5 this year, but we talked about restructuring the way that we're paying for our pension benefits. We're going to be paying those monthly rather than the way that we did it in 2015 and prior years. The entire amount is budgeted, but we don't cash flow it until the end of the year. And it's a sizable amount. It's $576,000 for 2015. So we're going to make those contributions monthly, which will help fund our pension plan more quickly, more efficiently, yes. And so I really think that next year we'll be able to lower the TAN volume.
all right. So that being said, I'm gonna make a recommendation, or I'm gonna go ahead and make it, a recommendation. We're gonna make a move that we accept the BB&T proposal at 1.08.
Second.
Have a move and a second.
Could you also make the motion to allow you to sign the documents? Because they should be ready by March 1st or somewhere there about before the next meeting.
Can I tie both those moves together? All right, well, I'll make an amendment to that I will tie both those moves together. None, that we are going to accept the BB&T and the fact that they've given me the authority to sign those documents when they come in.
Second.
So I'm moving a second to that. Any further discussion? None being, all in favor, let by saying aye. Aye. None opposed, thank you. That has been approved. All right, that brings us down to item number 11, guests and comments. We have other, quick, yes, Mark?
Yeah, item F, which you've already covered, where you had the execute documents necessary for GDOT airport closing.
Yes, sir.
Why were you closing the airport, Rob?
We're not closing the airport.
Now, my question is, what's in those documents? I mean, what's that involved, or?
What that is, those documents there is, as the horseshoe property has now been completed, we have the ability to apply to the federal government through GDOT. What's the term I'm trying to look at? Money's back from them to help finance that cost that the taxpayers had. We had 300, and I don't hold me to this figure, there's $315,000 I think that we're going to get this year that has already been approved from GDOT to pay for partial of that horseshoe, of the 17-acre horseshoe property. This right here, we got a call the other day from Scott Serrett, that's Georgia Aviation Administration, that not only that $300 has been approved, but there's good possibility we could get another 500,000 plus to go towards that also. So only issue he had with it was the fact that if he was able to pull this off, that he needed a signature within 1 to 3 days. He could not wait the 30 days for us to have another county meeting.
Yeah.
So that's why the authorization was there. If the money comes in, then they have given me the authorization to go ahead and sign the documents where we get the other money in the works.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Any other questions or comments? Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for being here. At this time, I'm going to call this meeting to an end. You all have a good weekend. Thank you very much.